Hi everyone, Sid here again, back in the bathroom. I'm feeling blue today. By that I don't mean that I'm feeling sad. What I mean is that today's lather and aftershave will both be Pro Raso Blue. The lather will be vanilla today. And also I will be talking about the boys in blue, because today's topic I'm going to dig a little deeper into something that I've mentioned in passing at least twice in my previous videos. I'd like to talk about the dual role that cops have. Most people don't realize this for reasons I will also get into, but police officers in principle have two functions. One of them is peacekeeping and the other is law enforcement. The peacekeeping is basically when they're protecting the peace. In other words, they're protecting property. So things that are actual natural law violations like theft, murder, rape, and all that nasty stuff that sick people do. And law enforcement is, well, enforcing the law. That's the you know, it's contained in the term itself. So the thing with the dual role, and I've mentioned this a couple times, how I'm all for peacekeeping, but not so much with the law enforcement, is that when a cop, how can I say this? When a cop is serving as a peace officer, they're actually protecting people's rights, whereas when they're serving as law enforcement, they're infringing on people's rights. Now, the peacekeeper the peacekeeper protecting the people's rights kind of ignores how the person gets paid in the first place, but the reason that I think this clarification is important is because the two terms often get muddled in the media and in the world in general. I'll get back to that in a second. So the first thing to pay attention to is when police officers refer to themselves as peace officers when they're actually serving a law enforcement capacity, and vice versa. An example that comes up, I mean, all of this that I'm about to go into is more anecdotal. I don't think it's a huge conspiracy, but it is something that I notice happening with a significant frequency, where, for instance, a peace officer will engage in a traffic stop and refer to himself as a peace officer. When we're talking about the traffic code, this is not a peacekeeping effort, it's law enforcement. And I'll be focusing on traffic for most of this video. I think traffic is a great topic to discuss these issues on, because the thing is, when you're driving a car or whatever motor vehicle, you really are in relation with other people. By doing so recklessly, you're putting other people at risk, including yourself. I totally get that. But the fact of the matter is, in my case, let's say, no one has higher incentive to make sure that I don't crash into a wall or a parked car or, heaven forbid, a pedestrian than me. Where the traffic code in general serves as a form of collective risk management. For that, I will refer you to my risk management video, which I think is a relevant piece of the puzzle. But to continue on, I invite you, when you're watching the media or reading things, to pay attention when police officers are referring to themselves as peace officers when they're actually acting as law enforcement officers. And journalists do this too sometimes. Sometimes they actually do the opposite. I'm reminded of a news blurb that I saw a while ago. I don't remember much of the details, but I remember when there was this high-ranking cop or whatever, a detective or something. There was this rapist or a pedophile or something, someone, you know, doing pretty gruesome things, or a kidnapper or something pretty serious that was caught. And when the big shot cop was giving his speech with all the microphones and shit in his face, he said, and this part I remember clearly, this is a very resounding victory for law enforcement. No, it's not. It's a resounding victory for peacekeeping, because when we're talking about something where someone's rights were violated or infringed upon, or actual harm was caused, like in the case of pedophilia or kidnapping or whatever this criminal was doing, to say that a cop is enforcing law when they go after this person is very misleading. So I think that it's something to pay attention to. And also, another reason why people typically meddle these two roles into one is, I think, and I'm going to propose a test in a couple seconds, most people deal with most cops most of the time as law enforcement officers. I think that is the role that they take the overwhelming majority of the time that they're on their shifts. And I'm going to have a question for you in a sec. So, for those of you who drive, I'd like you to pay attention. Like when, let's say you're driving down the road and you see a cop car parked somewhere. How often? Ooh, wow, there's a lot. How often is your first reflex, "Whew, I'm safe here," relative to, "Oh shit, what speed am I going?" Most of the time when I ask this question to people, they get it, you know? And I think it's a real shame to have these two roles conflated. And that's part of the reason why it's so confusing to most people, sadly, when I use the term code violation, which, as I've said in previous videos, I use that term very deliberately. Basically, a code violation is something that's wrong, and within this little thread, the word wrong will have air quotes wrapped around them for obvious reasons. I can't stick my hands up every 2 seconds. So a code violation is something that's wrong only because of words written on paper. So basically, things that have no victim, things that wouldn't be wrong except for these words written on paper by a bunch of bureaucrats. And to call it a code violation kind of deflates the programming that's usually triggered when people say things like, "You broke the law, 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 law." You know, it's like, to say that something is illegal is something that most people would just react to in this way, where if a cop suddenly decides to beat the shit out of someone because, let's say, he finds a plant on that person, most people would be like, "Oh yeah, sure, well, it's legal. He broke the law." And that's not really the best way to how can I say this? That's not the best way to protect property, because, again, when we talk about things like traffic or the war on drugs, which is absolutely horrendous, there's this plausible reason that's often appealed to, which is that, and I get this part to a certain extent, that like when, let's say the speed limit is 50 an hour and someone is driving a 70. That when you drive faster, you have that much less time to react, and if someone is in the way, it'll be that much more likely to cause an accident. However, as I said before, no one has higher incentive to make sure I don't crash into anything than me, and also to outsource this risk management to an organization that we're forced to pay for. As I covered in my risk management video again, it drives their incentive to do a good job in that field down to zero over time. So just want to make sure that there's stuff that I covered everything here. Yeah, exactly. So when you confuse the dual role of cops, most people in their minds, even though they deal with cops in a law enforcement capacity most of the time, yeah, I shaved my skull today. When you talk about a voluntary society, a truly free society, they think of, without cops, rapists would be running free in the streets and all that stuff. Whereas peacekeeping is definitely something that people would pay for even if they weren't forced to. Whereas law enforcement, I really don't think that what we're doing now is what would be done if people had the option. So really, I just wanted to expand more on that. Really, it's important to pay attention to when you see police action, whether or not they are acting as law enforcers or as peacekeepers. And you'll notice, or at least I have, I really can't say what you would see in your capacity, in your experience, but in mine, the vast majority of the time they're acting as law enforcers, which typically involves threatening people, which I'm not for. So, what else was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. So, for now, I'm just going to wrap it up like that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be going on vacation for about a week and a half. So this is the last video I'll be publishing for a while. So in the meantime, during the almost 2 weeks that I'll be gone, I invite you to check out the other videos. This is video number 15. So if you've only seen a couple videos, there's plenty more for you to check out. You can click on the text in the upper corner here. If you're watching this on an integrated browser on some other website, you can click on the text here, go to YouTube itself, and from there you can access the channel. There's all my videos are roughly the same length, and there's more for you to check out, plenty of content, and you can like, share, subscribe please. That would really help me out. I am at SidRock MTL on Twitter. So thank you very much. I'll see you again in a couple weeks, minus some change. And that's it. See you in the next shave that will be taking place here. Later.